everyone, it's Jessica, and today I'm reviewing both of the new L'Oreal La Palettes, and they are both called the La Palette Nude, but one is the La Palette Nude 1 and the other is number 2. So I am going to show you a demo of me applying these shadows to my eyes today, so you can kind of see what these shadows look like in action. And then after the demo, I'm going to show you swatches of both palettes and then kind of talk about the pros and cons of whether or not I think it is worth going out and purchasing or if you should pass on it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by actually throwing some concealer on my lids. A lot of times I use primer, but I am trying out this NYX one, the NYX HD one, and comparing it to the NARS one, but I want something tacky on my lids that's also going to cancel things out, which is what primers do, but concealers are great for it too. So that's what I'm using today. And if you're curious, the concealer I'm wearing today, I have the NYX one on this side and the NARS one on this side. And if that video is already up, I'll link it below where I do my demo and talk about if they're truly dupes for each other. And if it's not up, then subscribe and stay tuned. It'll be up soon. So now I feel like I'm kind of working with a very neutral base. You know, everything's kind of canceled out. It's just tacky enough that's perfect for eyeshadow. So I'm actually going to be doing a demo with the Palette 1 because that's the one that, as I've been using these over the past week, it's like the only one I ever want to use. It's got all the colors I want to create a full look. There are some colors from 2 that I really like, but 1 has more that I like. So that's the one that I'm going to be demoing from. So I'm just going to use a bigger fluffy brush. This is the Sigma E40. I'm going to be using this shade here, which is the 5th one in. And it's kind of a really nice, lighter, mid-tone color that's great for the crease, which is where I'm starting today. So I'm just going to kind of sloppily place that in the crease as I usually do for kind of a mid color. Just going back and forth. For the lid, I'm going to take my the brush that actually came with it, the little sponge tip end, and use this very far color. It's kind of a shimmery silver. And this is something I would typically use my finger for, but sponge applicators kind of achieve the exact same thing and you don't have to get your fingers all dirty. And the fact that it comes with it is kind of a bonus. Now I'm going to take this second one next to it, which is kind of a grayish tone, and put it in my crease again. And I'm just using the e.l.f. crease brush. It's a really kind of more detailed crease brush. And I'm just going to work it not all over like I did before, but actually right in the crease. It's going to kind of cool down this look just a little bit so it's not too warm. Because I'm not a big fan of totally warm eyes on myself. Take this 4th color right here, and I'm going to use the brush that came with it, not the sponge side but the brush side, and I'm going to very kind of use this as a detail brush to just do the outer corner. So we're almost done. I'm going to take this 4th shade in. It's kind of a golden, but it's a little bit deeper. And just with my finger, I'm going to pat it on the center of my lid. And the very last step I'm going to take with the eyeshadow look is I'm going to take this shade on the very end. It's kind of a matte, not quite, it's a little bit more of a satin, but I'm just going to take a fluffy brush and get a little bit on there and start up here to just kind of lighten up the brow bone, and then also throw some here on the inner part, and then just mix everything together. One last step I'm going to take is to take this 3rd one in and use the brush that came with it and do a little bit of on my lower lash line just to kind of bring the whole look together. And I'm just kind of pressing it in because this brush is a little bit floppier than like I would typically use on my lower lash line. And so I don't want it to flop and fly all over my face. So I'm just kind of lightly throwing it there, only going about a third of the way in, so almost halfway. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my look here, and I'll see you guys in a second. So you can see that I feel that these shadows blended very well together. Now, of course, I wasn't using every single shadow in the palettes because that would be ridiculous, but I really feel that as I've been using this over the past week that none of the shadows I've tried have been unblendable. So I will say these blend well together in my opinion. Let's go through the swatches so you can kind of see what they look like just swatched, but know that anytime you're applying an eyeshadow with your finger, it's gonna look very different than when you apply it with a brush. But just so you can get an idea of the colors that are in these palettes together. So here you can see all the swatches for the Palette Nude 1, and you'll notice that there are a lot more light colors in this one than dark colors, which I really like. I feel like the #1 palette has a lot more to offer when it comes to range of shades. And it also has a good mix of matte and satiny shimmery shades that I feel like you can get a matte look if you wanted and a shimmery look, or just kind of a mixed look like what I did today, which I love. Now let's look at the Nude 2 swatches. So you'll see in this one, there are a lot more deep colors in this palette, and there are also a lot more rosy and mauve-y toned colors in this palette. Now this is one that I have a few favorites in here that I kept reaching for, but there were a lot that I never felt drawn to using. And I do feel like this is more of a palette for someone that loves deeper colors and rosy colors like I mentioned, but also that just does more smoky eyes than I would. I feel that this is a beautiful palette, but it's just not in my taste. So I really feel that if you're at the store or you're watching this video and you're really thinking about just buying one of them, you just have to think about what is in your taste that you'll actually use. And one kind of rule I've been living by is looking at a palette and going through and saying, okay, let's look at this shade here. Would I wear this? Where would I wear it on my eye? Okay, I would wear it on my lid. Yes. Would I wear this one? Yes, I'd wear it on my lid. Would I wear this one? Yes, I'd wear it in my crease. Would I wear this one? Yes, probably on my lid. Would I wear that? And just literally going through one by one. And if you feel that more than half the palette, like when I look at the second one and I go through it and I'm being honest with myself and my taste, and I say, okay, would I wear this dark one? Maybe on my lower lash line. Would I wear this like rosy kind of brown one? Probably not, because I wouldn't like it with my skin tone. So I kind of went through this palette and realized like, yeah, there's not a lot that I would use. So just keep yourself in mind. Instead of going in because of all the hype around them, really think, would I use these shadows or not? The price point on these is kind of tricky because they are $20 just like on the L'Oreal website, it shows them as $19.99. But on Walmart's website and at Walmart, they're usually around $16. They were, I think, I had put on my Instagram when I first bought these, I put a picture up and said they were $13.99, but then when I looked at my receipt, I'm like, no, they weren't. They were like $15.99 or whatever it was they were. So the price point really ranges, but right now as I looked this up on Ulta.com, L'Oreal was buy one, get one 50% off, and they were both in stock on Ulta's website. So you could buy both for 30 bucks because I think they are $20 on their site. So just keeping that in mind, I'll put the Ulta link for these below since they're not sold out online yet. That way you can at least maybe get your hands on them. I grabbed the very last two at Target where I bought mine of both of these. I couldn't believe they were in stock. The packaging of these I think is really, really cute. The only downside is literally I picked it up and there were fingerprints all over it. Now I know that's a silly thing to care about, but I do care about it. But I think the packaging is beautiful. I don't really think they could improve upon anything on the packaging, to be honest, other than the fact that it's really shiny and, you know, it's hard to film with, but that's kind of a dumb problem because most people aren't filming these things. So I think the packaging is gorgeous. I even think that the brush that comes with it is really good. That's why I used it in the demo, because the sponge tip applicators, they actually are useful to pack shadow on. And then I actually thought the little brush was pretty useful on the other side. I don't think I would necessarily do an entire look with it, but you could, and that is a very nice thing. As you can see in the swatches, pigmentation-wise, it kind of ranged. Some were way more pigmented, some weren't. That's true for most eyeshadow palettes, especially in the drugstore. But again, when you're applying it with a brush, I think more important things you should be looking at is, do they blend well? Can you achieve a really nice look that you like with it? Because sometimes I don't want shadows that are crazy pigmented because I don't want a really pigmented look anyway. So if you're not looking for that, then you're not necessarily gonna want something crazy pigmented all the time anyway. So I don't mind that they're not all crazy buttery pigmented. Wear time is also really important. I have noticed as I've been wearing these shadows over the past week, they look exactly the same when I put them on as they do at the end of the day. Now I've tried it with many different primers. I've tried them with paint pots, color tattoos, I've tried them with Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I've tried it with my Wet n Wild Fergie one, which I love, by the way. And then today I tried it with concealer. It stays on all day, you guys. It does not move. Now, I haven't tried it without a primer because I always use primer with shadow. So, you know, even if you just have a concealer on hand, use it. They won't budge at all. They don't crease at all. I mean, oh my gosh, these are really, really a good deal. Overall, would I recommend these? Absolutely. Do I think they're the best palette in the entire universe? No, because I mean, obviously if you're gonna spend $50 like on a naked palette, I think those are absolutely amazing. But do I think that you have to spend $50 to get a really amazing palette that looks, I think, flawless? No, you don't have to spend $50. These are fantastic. They're just different. And I know a lot of people ask, you know, oh, are they a dupe for the naked palettes? I think they're absolutely shadows that could be dupes, but are they 100% dupes? No, because they're just different. They're a different collection of shadows. They're not necessarily the same formula. There might be some similarities, absolutely, but that makes sense because any kind of nude or neutral palette would have similar colors because, you know, there's only so much you can do with nude and neutral colors. So I think if you're looking for a new palette, I think these are worth kind of the hype that's around them. I know that there's a lot of mixed reviews on these, but you've kind of seen how they work on me and how I've been using them. Hopefully this review is helpful for you guys. If you are interested in any of my other drugstore palette reviews, I can link. I just recently did a review of, well, actually it was a comparison between a really high-end palette and a really, really cheap $6 palette that I'll link below that I totally think is a dupe for the expensive one. But if you're interested in any of my drugstore review and demos, I will link that playlist below. Subscribe if you would, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.